Hi guys, and welcome to RMSM Studio. I'm Rama and I'm here to share my ARE journey with you guys along with any tips or tricks that I picked up along the way. In today's video, we're going to go over how to do a virtual site visit for the AXP, and this can actually be helpful as well for the AREs, especially if you're sitting for the Construction and Evaluation exam or CE exam. So first, you're going to find a mentor. This can be someone within your office, this can be an architect you know, it might even be one of your college professors or university professors. So find a mentor who has a project that they can share the photos or even videos. I've had some mentors share time-lapse videos of projects. Not all projects or not all clients allow people to share, so definitely find one that has photos available. Or someone who's currently working on one that they can share the pictures and project history for. Number 2, set aside a dedicated meeting time for the site visit meeting, and try and have it as like an hour minimum so you have more than enough time to get through the entire project and also ask any necessary questions. Make sure that you bring like a paper and pencil, or maybe just something to take notes. This could be maybe your OneNote app or your Evernote on your laptop. It's really helpful to sort of take notes down as you're going. It shows that you're paying attention and active listening. But also for you, this information can be very helpful as you progress through your career. Next, let's go into some of the questions that you should actually ask during this virtual site visit. Hopefully your mentor will go through the entire timeline of the project if it's a finished project, or will at least go from like the very beginning of the project if the project is still in process. Ideally, they will go into the overall design of the project and what the concept was, what the idea was behind the design before they get into the actual construction administration process. It's also important for them to sort of go into the whole bidding and negotiation phase, talking about, project delivery methods, client relationships, contractor relationships. All of those are very helpful for you to know for the AXP process. And so some of the questions that you can ask are like for the project details, what the project type is, what type of building is it? Is it a hospital? Is it a school? How long it's anticipated to complete, or if it's completed, how long it took. And what the expected completion date was versus the actual completion date. That could be a whole thing. And also project cost, and again, expected and actual. Those can be very different. Next question that you can ask is about the project team members. So this can be the owner, the architecture firm, whether it was like a team effort or a joint venture, and also about the contractor and the engineers or other project consultants. They might have brought on specialized consultants for the project itself. And the relationships as the project progressed, whether there were any conflicts. It's not necessarily about stirring up drama, but just knowing how these relationships actually work in the real world, and just stuff to keep aware of for your future practice. Also, the time element is super important. So the stages of completion, the challenges that they had throughout the course of the project, and also the project schedule. If the project is currently undergoing construction, what the current schedule is, if there are any delays. That can be really helpful to know what caused those delays so you can avoid those things in your future projects. And a great thing to talk about, even though not everybody might be able to talk about it, are the safety and sustainability features within that project. I've sometimes asked my mentors, what are the sustainability elements? And they're like, well, I'm not really sure. And that's okay. But it's still helpful to know the stuff related to health, safety, and welfare on the project, any specific fire issues or fire rating they had to achieve with specific materials, and if they're aiming for a specific sustainability rating like LEED or Green Globes or something like that. So it's very important to ask those types of questions so you can build your own knowledge of what a project like that looks like throughout its construction, and maybe special measures they had to take to make sure it received that level of certification. And also, I think it's very important to talk about thoughts on the actual project design, the aesthetics or the form of the building, any solutions they had, problem solving, I think that kind of comes in with the PA exam, programming and analysis exam, looking at how they actually solve the client's problem. So those can be things that you can talk about in the course of the virtual site visit. And especially for a completed project, you can talk about, what the planned solution was and whether or not that actually worked out at the end of the day, if it was maybe value engineered out or if it actually wasn't used in that way, if they did a post-occupancy evaluation to see how that space or how that problem was actually tackled in the real world, so to speak. And also its relationship to the context, so looking at the surroundings of the building, maybe its city or its location, or even its block, to see how well it fits in with the area around it, how well maybe the rendering of its relationship to the context actually changed in the final version of the building. So there's lots of different topics you can speak on in terms of the virtual site visit. It doesn't have to be just the construction elements. It can be about the building as a whole. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'll provide a link to the AXP handbook in the video description, so you can check it out there. And as always, best of luck on your registration process, and hope to see you guys again soon.